Saddle up for the wildest, no-holds-barred conversations in music. Outlaw Jeff James and Mr. Moonlight bring you raw stories, legendary guests, and the unfiltered truth behind the industry's biggest names. We're laying it all on the table. This is the Outlaw Radio Show.
This is Troy,
Adam,
Sam,
Jason,
and Levi.
We are Avoid Dead. You're listening to Outlaw Radio.
Stay alive. Stay listening.
We interrupt this broadcast to bring you an important message. This is an activation of the emergency alert system. Communication is down.
night.
And you're listening to Outlaw Radio. Good evening, Outlaws.
Good evening, everybody.
Welcome to the Witchy Guide to Halloween show with special guest Calavera, our modern-day witch and skull reader. We're also featuring the music of Spokane, Washington's Avoid Dead with the songs Witch, the brand new one, Inner Demons, Radio Down, and Soldier On.
Hey, I like that new one. I guess that's a debut performance for them, right? So we are lucky enough to play their song for the first time on our show.
Exactly. And you guys are really starting to grow musically. When I was listening to it, I was thinking Korn, kind of like Jonathan Davis a little bit. It has that vibe. Don't you think, Jim?
You do the scream really good on that one.
Yeah, it's excellent. So we have two more that we're going to be playing at the end of the show. Calavera is our special guest tonight. She is a death witch and skull communicator who works at Goddess Elite, a metaphysical shop in North Olmsted, Ohio. She's also the owner of her own witchcraft supply business, Death and Dishonor Witchery. For witches and pagans, Halloween coincides with Samhain. Samhain? I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. A powerful festival marking the final harvest and the start of winter. With the veil between the physical and spiritual worlds at its thinnest, Samhain is an ideal time for ancestor introspection and divination rituals. They can be performed alone or with others and should be tailored to your intentions. Halloween originates from the ancient Celtic festival, which marked the end of summer time when the boundary between the living and the dead was believed to blur, allowing spirits to roam the earth. Celts lit bonfires and wore costumes to ward off evil spirits. The holiday evolved over centuries, with the Catholic Church incorporating it into All Saints' Day. And on November 1st, and Irish and other European immigrants bringing the traditions to America, where they blended with local customs to form the modern Halloween. Pretty cool, huh, Jim?
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah,
There's some history there.
I thought it was super cool. So let me get set up for Calavera. Just give me 1 second.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this.
Yeah, me too. This is going to be fantastic.
I like the spooky music, too.
I think Calavera's going to like it, too. All right. Please welcome to the show our modern-day witch, crystal skull communicator, Calavera. Welcome to the show. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Fantastic. We hear you loud and clear.
Awesome.
Looking good, too.
Yes, you are. All right, so you excited? It's almost Halloween.
It's my time.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
it is.
Mine
That's
too.
why we have you here now.
Okay, we're set to go, Jim.
All righty then.
All right, you ready? You didn't get to see any of these questions, right? I didn't send you any of them.
They're not
No.
difficult questions either, so we're not trying to get you.
Pop quiz.
Yeah, this will be really good. This will be fun for you. All right, so as a death witch, she specializes in practices related to death and the afterlife. Can you tell our listeners what that entails?
Yeah. So death witchery is it's a practice of like there's green witch and there's cosmic witch and divination witch. With death witchery, I focus primarily on the dead. So working with bones, things of empty vessels. I work with things like graveyard dirt, basically things that just have, or we would consider as people void of life, and spirit communication. So communicating with spirits that have passed.
Oh, that's super cool. The grave thing. I never heard about that before, but that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Wow, very cool. All right, so you are devoted. Now, I'm not sure if I pronounced this correctly. Santa Muerte?
Santa Muerte.
Muerte, thank you so much. And what does that mean?
So there are witches that work with deities. And Not every witch does, but I do. I was called to La Santísima Muerte, who is a Mexican folk saint, and her name actually translates to the Holy Death. So she is the female version of the Grim Reaper. She came to me way back when I kind of first, we'll say, like, awoken to spirituality and witchcraft, and after being someone who was in Christianity and then having a deity come in and show me who they were right off the rip was mind-blowing. So a devotee is just somebody that devotes their time. We would call it, I don't necessarily call it worship. Some people would say worship. I kind of say I'm building a bond. So actually right behind me, I don't mind showing you, is a whole altar set up for her. And I just, what I call is I keep the altar hot. So I go over there, I talk to her. I tell her about things that I have going on. And she, in return, aids me when I need her. And we just kind of like formed a friendship. So it's basically communication with a deity, but my deity is a Mexican folk saint known as Santa Muerte.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Hey, I had a question while you were talking about altars. It just popped in my head. I want to create one at where I live.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know exactly how to set up one, but is it basically like incense and like peppercorns and like photos and candles? Is that pretty much in stones? Is that pretty much the idea, or is it? Do you tailor it to yourself, or?
You tailor it to yourself. So depending on what you want that altar to be used for, like some people have many altars. They have like a money altar, and they'll have like an ancestor altar, or like an altar to their deities. So it depends on what you want it tailored to. And they usually, we'll call it the rule of thumb, is you want to have every element that you possibly can on your altar. So you want a form of water. So that could be a glass of water. You want air, which could be the incense, so the smoke. You want earth, which is the crystals or whatever else earthly thing you have in that you would kind of vibe with.
Graveyard dirt?
Yeah, graveyard dirt.
That's a good one.
So, oh man, no, my elements. Fire, which is usually a candle. You could also say incense as well because it does say lit. And then spirit, and that's just kind of invoking the spirit with your energy. Like this basically becomes a living vessel of yourself.
Very
So
cool.
you spend time pruning it, taking care of it, and you kind of charge it with your own energy.
Neat. All right. So you brought up another thing, and this popped in my head too. It's not even a part of your questions, but at the altar, what's the difference between a white candle and I know like the green candles and some of those other ones, but what's really the difference between a black candle and a white candle? Because I think a lot of people think of a black candle, especially around Halloween, as negative.
You are 100% right. Drives me crazy. Because people do come in and they're like, black is bad, 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 bad. And it's not. So black, black is actually used for protection. So that is actually your protection candle. That's the candle you're going to use when you want to ward things off, when you want to protect your home, when you want to protect your space. And white is used usually for cleansing. And the cool thing about white is it is a universal candle. So you can, let's just say you went to the store and you couldn't find a green candle. You can give the white candle the job of the green candle. So it can be any color that you want it to be. So it's interchangeable. But white's usually for purification and cleansing and bringing in positive.
So it kind of washes away the negative energies around you.
Yeah.
Where the black candle kind of wards off negative spirits, where the white candle kind of purifies your home or
Correct.
your space, right?
Yep.
Okay, very cool. Okay, here's a question I actually wrote down. So you craft potential ritual oils and elixirs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bringing shadow magic to Goddess Elite. What is shadow magic?
So it's the we'll call it like the shadow. Everyone has like a shadow self. These are the things. I don't know if you've heard of the term shadow work. It's very commonly used in the witchcraft community, but it's basically bringing up the dark parts of yourself, like therapy. And it's bringing up these things that maybe you don't want to confront and that are a little dark, and ultimately purging those things and letting those things rise up are what help you to analyze them and see them and get them out of the way. So with shadow magic, it's also bringing up the deep and dark parts of yourself, bringing out the darkness and bringing it to the light so you can acknowledge it, see what it is, and bump it out of the way.
Interesting. All right. So Halloween is a fun time of year for old and young. What is Halloween like for a modern day witch?
Oh, it's so fun. So I turn it into basically a whole ritual day. So there is the common belief that the veil is the thinnest during this time. And I want to say it is also considered part of the witch's new year that's going into winter time. So it's like for our calendar, it's when things start to die. And our new year doesn't fall on the typical like end of the calendar year. Ours is a little bit different. So it's getting ready to let go of things. So I do a lot of letting go. If there's anyone I want to communicate with, I try to do it at this point. I will also honor people that have passed, whether it be family members or friends, have like a little ancestral altar built for that day. And just kind of invite them in. Things like I'll offer candies or food and drink to any of the spirits that want to partake. I also go into warding and protecting the home. So lighting a bunch of black candles and orange candles, things to bring in joy. It's just like a really fun time for me because it's truly like the witchiest time of the year for me. And being able to embrace we'll call it the dark and the taboo for this one night where it makes it a little bit easier. I think the veil is thin all the time, but I can definitely feel that the energy is different on Halloween.
All right, here's one for you. You mentioned the thinning of the veil. I've known about this for maybe 5 or 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, definitely on Halloween's when I pull out the tarot cards and do a lot of pendulum stuff, because I do believe in the thinning of the veil. Just kind of like when you're dreaming and you're doing like astral projection or lucid dreaming. To me, that's also the thinning of the veil at that time, because I can really go into like I don't even know, a different realm or a different plane
Mm-hmm.
at that time. But definitely during Halloween, the thinning of the veil, how does that work for a witch? I mean, do you feel it on Halloween? Do you get the vibration and the hair standing up on your arms? Not that you have hairy arms, but you know what I mean.
I feel like it's easier to communicate. So for me, it's like instead of having to really, really concentrate, or if there's times where I am not necessarily in the witchy or spiritual mood, it can get harder to communicate with the other side. On that day, it's like they are right there. So they make it really easy to communicate with them to where I don't have to, I guess, try as hard or concentrate as hard. So that's kind of the difference for me. As far as like feeling things walk around or, I guess the more like interesting part, I don't really get that. I just get easier communication.
Okay. Still staying with the thinning of the veil. Full moons.
Full moons. So I love a good full moon. For that, for me, it's like a releasing time. They are meant for uh, meant for releasing. They're meant for letting go and bringing into the new cycle of things. Full moons, I definitely feel They can get chaotic. I don't know much about planets. I am not going to be your astrology girly, but there are, you know it. I used to be a bartender. So when I bartended around full moon times, like you just knew it because everyone would act different. People's like their tempers were either super short or they were great. It just kind of depends on the planetary alignment at the time, but full moons in general, the energy is just a little bit more heightened for me. And I usually just kind of keep it simple with like a letting go ritual. And sometimes I forget that it's a full moon and I just am lazy and don't do anything. So
Now, do you follow the lunar schedule, like the harvest moon, the blood red moon, the waning moon? Do you follow any of those?
I
Yeah.
don't. And it's mostly because I can't keep track. I
Me
will,
neither.
yeah, I will usually, like, for example, I know the harvest moon is for reaping and bringing in the things that you have worked really hard on the year for. But other than that, like, I don't necessarily, I guess, pay attention to them unless it's a big astrological event.
I've become very interested in astrophysics and
Mhm.
the study of space, the moon cycles, and going back to the full moon thing. Yeah, people act weird on full moons, and I think it has a lot to do with the frequencies. The I can't remember what they call them, but kind of like the different gravitational pull. And there are times that I feel heavy. You know what I mean? Do you ever
Yeah.
get that feeling in your legs where you just feel pulled down by gravity?
Hmm.
Okay, yeah, that was the crazy thing about space, you know? In talking about the thinning of the veil, just to go back a second, the spirits are basically the spirits are really making themselves known that you can communicate with them and do rituals and things like that during Halloween. Are there any other times during the year that we have the thinning of the veil?
They actually say that the veil is the thinnest. I always I'm terrible with the sabbats, which are the seasons. Um, Spring, they also say is super super thin. So when we're going into from winter into the springtime, when things are more alive and things are starting to grow again, that's another time that they say it's really thin. Um, I kind of bond with more of the darker aspect of things, so I feel it more around Samhain, and that's just kind of my thing. Same thing with Yule. So around Christmas time, I feel like it's a little bit more joyous. I feel like it's more celebration time. I think things kind of thin around that time too. But I think it's because as a collective, we're also mourning the people that we've lost, and we tend to think about those people a lot around those very joyous and family-centered holidays. So I always feel like it's a little bit heavier around them then because these spirits are coming in to celebrate with their family, whether their family knows it or not.
Very interesting. Well, we're going to get to that stuff shortly here. All right, I had another thing I wanted to say. I always forget that the Yule log is a pagan tradition.
Hmm.
And why do you guys burn the Yule log? What's the tradition behind that?
So I'm not. I don't want to say too much because I don't have all the education in the Yule log. But I know that it is meant to be like a offering to basically the bringing in the warmth of winter. So being able to stay warm, shelter, food. So it's putting all of your intention into this log, and people will wrap it with things. Like some people will actually put candles into it, and they basically charge this log with their energy for sustainability for the winter time, and then they end up burning it as a family like tradition to bring in that stability and that warmth and shelter throughout the winter months.
Oh, neat. Very
Yeah.
neat.
Where do you get such a log that you're referring to? Is it just symbolic or something, or
It's symbolic. You can just go and get a log and
just
make it
anything
in.
out of the woods? You mean?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So there's places that will sell Yule logs, but yeah, they it's literally just a piece of wood.
I grew up in a Catholic house. We later converted to Christianity. I kind of went down the road more of natural, like pagan spirituality type thing. We burned a Yule log every Christmas Eve. How we did it, Jim, was we took 3 logs, we put some like pine in the middle, or what are those things called? Like acorns and pine combs, and then we would take a fabric of red and wrap it around. And while we had the fire going, as we had a fireplace in the house, we put the Yule log, and it was a special thing, putting the Yule log on the fire. But I never really understood the significance at the time as a kid, but I get it now.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
yes, it is.
I have another question for you, and this is off the beaten path. I had seen a video a couple years back during a crescent moon. Witches were dancing around a fire, and music was playing. It was kind of like a uh, Middle Ages type of music, like violins and acoustic. Do you guys dance around a fire?
Um, so I don't. I know some do, especially. So I don't identify with Wiccan or paganism just because of the fact that they are more religion based, and ever since I broke out from Christianity, I haven't tied myself to anything else. But especially pagans and I want to say mostly pagans, they are really big on the traditions of the holidays. So you have May Day and Mabon, and those I want to say it's those. I could be completely wrong. Where fire is a big thing, and it's the spring months where you see the traditional lighting of the fire and people dancing around it, and that was actually to bring fertility and passion into the coming summer. So it was that I know is something that is still celebrated to this day, especially in those traditions that are very hardcore pagan.
Oh, very cool.
Mhm.
You know where my family picked up on the Yule log thing was we lived in Colonial Williamsburg. In Colonial Williamsburg, obviously that was the 1700s, 1600s, 1700s. They carried over a lot of those traditions of pagan stuff from Europe and London, United Kingdom area. That's where a lot of it came from, and that's where we got the idea of the Yule log.
That's
Or
so
I believe
cool.
my family did.
Yeah, that's cool, especially with you said it was Christian or Catholic at the time.
I think Christian at that time.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
interesting that, at the time, it was a pagan tradition that your Christian family was bringing in. Same thing with decorating the Christmas tree. That is actually a pagan thing.
Yeah,
Uh,
I know it. That's
yeah.
pretty cool.
Mhm.
Well, a lot of those traditions, they came from Europe, and they were all pagan.
Yeah.
That's Christianity was born in paganism. Okay, we're moving on. I'll just keep talking about this over and over and over. Ginger, you want to say something?
Oh, I'm good for right now. It's very interesting, though.
Okay, you mentioned this while we were talking about the altars, and I'm gonna jump forward. Um, Preparing a dumb supper or silent feast for the deceased. What is that? Why is it done? And how do you do it?
So suppers are just you are making your food, preparing it for yourself, but also preparing it with the intent that you are feeding the family of or your friends. In the spirit world. So it's inviting them in to celebrate with you, feeding them their favorite foods. Usually there's certain things, like for example, around Samhain, we make what's called soul cakes. And they're just little mini cakes that are meant to be offered to ancestors and offered to the deceased and spirits that are just coming by. But that is a dumb supper is just basically a supper with the intent to feed and nourish people that were once here.
Yeah, I know there's people out there that have lost loved ones, especially significant others, where they'll sit down and have dinner at night and they'll still set a plate for their deceased loved one.
Yeah.
That's true. I'll tell you a quick story. It's off the beaten path, but I had somebody I lost probably about 5 years ago. And when they're last in my car, they had a Starbucks cup. I left that Starbucks cup in my car for almost 5 years. I just couldn't find it in me to throw it away. Like, because in my head, throwing it away would be like moving on from the situation. Does that make sense to you?
Very much. Very much.
Okay, very cool. Also, graveside rituals. Visit a grave to connect with your ancestors using the elements, and you mentioned these: salt for earth, incense for air, candle for fire, water for water, to pass messages of love and remembrance.
Hmm.
That's something that you do, don't you?
Yeah, I don't necessarily go to the grave sites on the day, but for example, like we all get those when we have someone that passes away, we all get the little info cards on them.
Right.
And I just kind of like put them all together and bring that energy in, similar to what you would do at the gravesite. This is very big in Mexico, where they have the Day of the Dead, and they will actually go to the grave sites of these people, and it's lit up and it's beautiful, and these cemeteries come to life because the candles are lit, the flowers are down, and they are celebrating these people that have passed. And it's just again a remembrance of the people that were here, and it's not sad when these people go to these grave sites. It's more so I'm bonding with this family member or this friend that passed away, and it's a way of still having that connection with them.
I agree with that because I have a really hard time going to the cemetery. I don't like going. It's depressing. It's not like I feel negative energy whatsoever, but it's just grief. And it would be fantastic if we did that once a year. They lit up the cemetery. You could go and visit your ancestors and the people that passed and make it a celebration and not so depressing.
And they do this in Mexico every year?
Yeah,
I've heard about
Los
that.
Muertos. That is you probably see it all the time. The Day of the Dead is how it's translated.
I've heard
Um,
that.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. Like if you've ever seen if you don't know if anyone's out there like big on the Disney movies, but there is a whole Disney movie based off of the ofrendas, which are the altars that people make for their past family members that are lit up during the Day of the Dead. But that is Coco from Disney. So if you've ever kind of want a rundown as to what it looks like in Mexico during the Day of the Dead, like that movie does an excellent job, like showing that it's not sad. It's strictly a remembrance day. How they do death in Mexico is so different from how we do it in America. Where here it is mourning, it is sad, it is depressing, it's doom and gloom, and over there it's like celebratory. They pour like liquor into the graves, and it's loud, and it's more so a celebration of life. We call our celebrations of life here, but they're not. They're still sad.
No, they're
Um,
depressing.
yeah, and over there it's a party. They get the whole family together.
I could see that they do one day a year for this big celebration, but and I'm all for that. That sounds like something I'd like to do. But I also cherish and think about my friends and family members every day. Actually, it's not just a one day thing a year. I think it's something that you should do every day.
I definitely do it every day for sure. I
Yeah.
talk to my dead family members, in my head, even out loud sometimes because, I miss them.
Yeah, and they, just to put this out there for anyone that's listening, like they do hear you. I think people, that maybe aren't necessarily spiritual or don't believe that there's anything after this, it's more so they look at it as final. Like it is, I can no longer communicate with this person. I will kind of give you a brief I had a friend of mine pass away just last month. And I went to a dance with this friend. And unfortunately, this friend passed away to suicide. And I went to a dance with this friend when we were in high school, years ago, years and years and years and years ago. And I lifted my head up and I instantly got this feeling of anxiety. And I'm like, I have something of his in my house. I know I do. And so I yelled at him. I was like, Brandon, I'm like, show me where this thing is. I know I have it and I have to give it to your mom. Instantly, I start looking around. And meanwhile, I have moved since then. And I go straight to a jewelry box and I have a I think it's a corsage pin with his initial literally still written in it. And why I kept it all these years, I don't know. But there was a reason why. And as soon as I was like, help me, like, I've got to give this to your mom. This is important. I know she wants it. He led me right to it. And so when I say that, like, they hear you, like, they genuinely hear you. You can cuss at them. You can be mad at them. You can scream, cry. Like, they understand what you're feeling. And it's totally okay to express that to them. And to just talk to them as if they're still here. Because they're still around, like, 100%.
Yeah, I believe that for sure. Hey, while we're talking about that, last time you're on the show, and you've also wrote me and told me from watching the show you've seen spirits with us. We get that from a lot of people. They'll, like, Gregory Nicholas will tell us there's somebody between us. June Lundgren said it. You see anybody tonight?
You've got a woman between you guys tonight. Last time I saw a male, this is a very stoic, more petite woman. Very, very quiet. And she's not interrupting, like, at all. She's just kind of like observing and very, like, I don't want to say shy, just more so like happy and content with what she is observing. But yeah, she's right in the middle.
So before the show and on my way driving here, I sent my intention that my mom visit the show tonight. My mom was very stoic. She was petite and small, just like you described her as. And she passed, I think, maybe 2.5 weeks ago. So I feel your pain. I know what that's all like.
Oh, well,
I've had some great experiences since her passing. The show's done really well. I asked her to help, obviously, because I do try to reach over to the other side. I do the pendulum. I've had some really good readings from the pendulum and tarot readings as well, oracle card readings as well. And I had the dream visit right like 4 days after she passed away.
Oh.
So I totally believe in being able to reach the spiritual world.
100%.
Hey, let me ask you this question. I want to go back for a second because we were talking about the different moons. I always thought the crescent moon looked sexy. Crescent moon. I think the crescent moon has some paranormal properties. What do you think?
I wish I knew more. It's the crescent moon, it comes around when we start to lose her. Like for the full moon, she starts to slowly deplete and like slither away. And it's almost like what I feel from the crescent moon is almost like, time's running out. Like you have to start figuring things out before we have the new moon, which when there's no moon in the sky, it's also known as the dark moon. But it's kind of like that reminder that like darkness is coming and light is also like peeking around the corner. But that's what I get from it. As far as paranormal, I don't. So I'm curious as to what kind of is known about that.
Yeah, I'm really interested now in the moons, lunar cycles and the whole bit. Matt Gucca, who's the paranormal chef on our show, he also follows the moon stuff quite a bit. And here's something about the moon that a lot of people don't know about that I used to do: moon water. I used to put out like a little canister, collect the rainwater over like a month period of time, and then I would put it out in the moonlight, and of course, put my offerings on top of my mason jar, and that was the moon water, and I would put that next to my nightstand. Have you heard about this?
Yeah, yeah. I used to do moon water all the time. I've gotten lazy with it, but yeah, moon water. All different waters have properties. So, like you said, collecting rainwater. Rainwater has a different property than we'll call it tornado water. Same thing with thunderstorms and just normal like tap water that you put outside. But yeah, moon water it's super beneficial for many things. If you make it with drinkable water, you can drink it to help heighten intuition or to cleanse, or to release and let go. You can use it to clean things off. I use it to clean things. So, especially my altar. So, if I make a big enough batch, I will put that together with some Florida water and clean things off. And to me, it just feels more ritualistic to bring in the energy of the moon into the, physical cleaning of a space.
Wow, I never even thought about the different types of water, like the tornado water and thunderstorm water. I guess, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It has different properties.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. I used it for intention, like to try to open up a little bit more, get more communication, stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, I got a question for you that is not part of the questions, but this has been happening to me a lot, and I wanted to ask you about this because I can't figure it out. I'll be going to bed at night. I have my eyes closed, and when I'm not in lucid dreaming yet, I'm just starting to doze. Not heavy though. I'm still awake. I can, with my eyes closed, see different places. I could be in the desert. I could be walking on a highway in a mountainous area. I could have my eyes closed and see my apartment. What is going on?
It's really funny because I can do that too, but I didn't know that a lot of people can't do that. Like, there's people that can read books where I can picture how a book is playing out. There are people that read books that can't picture how the book is actually playing out. Like, I see it like a movie. Some people don't. So,
Like a movie.
yes. Yes. So I didn't know. I thought everybody could do that. I didn't think it was anything special. There is a scientific reason behind it, as to why certain people are able to visualize like that. Something with the brain. I wish I knew more. Unfortunately, I don't. But yeah, I just was like, I found out like a year or two ago that not everybody can visualize like that. So you are practicing visualization and putting yourself at places that either you haven't visited yet or that you have visited before and you want to bring yourself back to that. It really helps with especially like meditation, where some people can't picture the tree that they're talking about in the guided meditation or the ocean that they're talking about in the guided meditation. So it's, for us, I think it's easier. And for the people that can't visualize, I want to know what that's like. Cause my overactive brain makes me see things all the time. So that's super interesting. But yeah, I would say look at it as a gift, because I don't know what I would do if I couldn't visualize.
Is that similar to lucid dreaming, Jeff?
I'm not in a lucid state. I'm not in the lucid dream. And Matt also mentioned astral projection. I have not left my body. I am just getting into bed. I am starting to get comfortable. I close my eyes and I'm taken on an adventure. Now, I don't visualize this in my mind. I'm not consciously in my mind thinking about going anywhere. I close my eyes and it's like a remote view. I'm just, I'm there. It's crazy. When I close my eyes and then I see it and then I try to go somewhere, I can't do it.
Yeah, the visions only last for an instant, right? If you try to bring it back, or do they stick around?
It'll go 2 or 3 minutes.
That's like a dream that you're in real time. You're actually seeing a dream and you're half conscious still, right?
I'm totally
I
awake.
did that today. I do that all the time.
It's not even like fantasizing about going elsewhere. It's just, I've astral project. I can leave my body while I sleep sometimes. It happens. Lucid dreaming happens quite often. This is totally different. It's like remote viewing. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
When I was a,
remote viewing.
when I was a kid, I used to have dreams where I was flying and stuff like that.
Astral projection.
But I don't have them anymore. Darn it, they were so much fun.
They're awesome, right?
I try to get it back. Come on, I want to fly more, but never really helped me.
Let me ask you, Calavera, how come when Jim was a kid and I was a kid, we could astral project so much easier than we are now? Is it because of social media and politics and all? Is it the negative everything on us and we can't do it now?
I'm so sad to say this, but because it's you are forced to grow up. You are forced to, when we're kids, we can see things like, you have these kids that come up to you and they're like, oh, yeah, did you see that person over there? And there's no one there. It's because they are so close to the veil. They kind of see things like how we believe that cats and dogs can see the spiritual world within our world. And we have
That's 100% true. That's 100% right there.
Yes, we have that as children, but as we grow older and we're told that's weird, that's not real life, and we get this social pressure put on us, we kind of block it out. I think people think that if you are, for example, psychic, that you just see things all the time. And if you are a good psychic or a good medium, you can turn it off. You have to know when to turn things off. And I think as we have grown up, we are turned off, and then it's really, really hard to get turned back on again. Which is, I don't have dreams like that anymore either. I wish I did. But yeah, you were astral projecting. You were going somewhere else. And it was easy for you to do because you didn't have that social pressure on you of like your 9-to-5 job, and you can't daydream. Don't daydream. You've got work to do. So
yeah, I believe it's kind of like we've got stuck in the matrix and then we lost our ability, but we can regain that ability.
yes,
For sure. It just takes a little bit of work. Meditation is the way to go.
I agree.
Jim, do you have anything else you'd like to say?
Yeah, I'm good right now, I guess.
Okay. Here's another question for you. Here's a very witchy thing during Halloween. Black cats. What's the deal with black cats? Why is everybody so afraid of the black cat crossing the path? I thought it was a good luck thing.
It was originally a good luck thing. It was skewed later on. I don't know how or why it was skewed, but then it turned into, oh, if a black cat crosses your path, it's bad luck and someone's going to die tomorrow. We as witches look at black cats or just cats in general, as creatures that are living in both, as you can hear my cat screaming.
I heard the kitty.
Yes.
And they are like the in-betweens between the physical and the spiritual. So because of the fact that they knew that black cats could go into the spiritual and were often companions of witches, it turned into like a evil thing. Like just, the old thing of like, if you drove past a graveyard, you were supposed to plug your nose because a spirit could enter your body. It became like a thing like
or hold your breath or something. I think
Bring it on. I'm like, bring it on. I want you to come home.
You're right. So yeah, I don't know the full originations, but yeah, it's become, you definitely know who's witchy by how they respond to the black cat myth versus who's not.
Yeah, I always like seeing the black cat cross my path. I know it's good luck.
Yeah, and unfortunately black cats, because they are told that they're this connotation and this evil energy, they are actually the highest or the lowest adoption rates at shelters. So if you want to go take a furry friend home, black cats are always looking for homes.
Here's one for you. I believe everything happens for a reason. I also believe there's like numerology and you see numbers and sequences. I follow all that stuff. When I mentioned black cats, Your cats didn't meow the whole time, and then as soon as I mentioned black cats, did you notice they started meowing?
Mm-hmm.
Because cats and dogs and many other animals can um, notice frequencies and changes in temperatures and changes in, and I think that they can see the spiritual world. I really do believe that.
How about dogs? You know, you talk about black cats. People don't like to bring them home. How about dogs? I see a lot of black dogs. I wonder if it applies for dogs. Any
Uh,
thoughts on that?
there is, so same thing, like, dogs are also very sensitive to the spiritual realm as well. There's actually a lot of dogs that the goddess Hecate, which is the goddess of witchcraft, she is actually accompanied by two black dogs. That is something that they say is like her staple. When she's near, when there's black dogs around. So they are more so like, you've got the cats that are the healers, and you've got the dogs, which are the protectors of the spiritual realm. Now, cats also protect too, but they're more so like they see the thing and they're going to make sure they protect you spiritually when your dogs protect you physically.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
I do remember after I'm not sure if it was like the Omen or something like that, but Jim, do you remember the Black Dobermans
Yeah,
in that
I was
movie?
thinking about that. Right.
I was thinking about that too.
Very
And
mean dogs there.
they portrayed them as like
They were
demon dogs.
protecting. Yeah.
Yeah, they were protecting the Antichrist or whatever it was, Damien,
Damien. Okay, that's right. Yeah.
if you remember that. Okay, how about this? Apple magic. Have you heard about that?
No.
That's some type of witchy thing that goes on during Halloween. I looked that up.
That one I don't know, I guess, as much about. I know that different types of fruits and stuff are used for different things. I know that there is like some connotations with apples come the fall time. I just don't know much about it. It's not something, I guess, that I've engaged in.
Okay, it's definitely a harvest type of fruit for sure. Here's one for you. Carving a pumpkin with intent. The tradition of carving jack-o'-lanterns comes from the ancient Celtic practices. Instead of just carving a face, use magically charged symbols to set an intention, manifest a wish, or ward off negative energy. I never heard of that before. That blew my mind. What a great idea.
Yeah, it was said that when back in the day, it was carving pumpkins and putting a light in them and putting them outside your door to protect you from any unwanted spirits that would enter your house on Halloween. So they would carve these pumpkins and gourds with the intention of keeping the passersby out of their home.
Yeah, I heard gourds as well and turnips too. I heard that also carving into turnips. I thought that was super cool.
Yeah.
All right, what about scrying? Do you I saw that that's kind of a witchy thing to do, and definitely during Halloween, it's a really cool time to do it. And Matt, we were at the Buckland Museum of Witchcraft and Magic. We looked in a bunch of black mirrors. It freaked us all out. But you guys will do the black mirrors. Coffee also works, I heard.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's a couple different ways to do scrying. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
So scrying is when you see like the traditional witch with the crystal ball. So that is when you look into an object that is usually void of anything in it. Like you don't want, like how crystals have little inclusions. You don't want inclusions in it. You want it to be as clear as possible. So for example, remember when we were young and we would look up at the clouds and we would see animals or different faces? That is actually a form of scrying. You are seeing things in, for example, the clouds. You're able to make out shapes. Same thing with looking into a crystal ball. You basically look at it and you zone out and you let whatever comes to the front of your vision help you with divination. So it's a form of divination. You can use water in a black bowl. You can use black mirrors. You can use crystal balls. Tea leaf readings are a form of scrying. So it's when you read tea leaves, and same thing with coffee, you read the grounds. So you would do you wouldn't do a filtered coffee. You would do something that would leave grounds behind. And when you drink the tea and drink the coffee, it's seeing how the leaves sit at the bottom of the glass and how the grounds sit at the bottom of the glass and making out different shapes. And each shape has a different meaning. So like if you were to see a fox, you would think, oh, someone sneaky, someone sleazy, someone two-faced. If you would see like a butterfly, you would think transformation or freedom. So there's many different ways to scry. I have a hard time with scrying. I was really good at it as a kid. And I think it's a patience thing now for me. But some people are really, really good at scrying and seeing things right as they are.
I think if you try to force it, that it's not going to work. I think it just happens when it happens. You can't say, "Okay, I'm going to do it."
Yes.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, I've done the tea leaves thing. I think I did it with Gregory Nicholas. We did that one time. And I don't, for some reason, I really don't like doing the Black Mirror. Kind of freaks me out. But I like the idea of the black coffee. I think that's a cool one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look into that and try it out. Now, when you do it, do you in the coffee itself? Do you actually see things?
Yeah, just kind of like how you would see the clouds in the sky. Depending on how, same thing, you can do it with wine sediment too. So,
Mm.
in red wines, so you can see if you look hard enough, because you basically have to look at it, not concentrate too hard to take yourself out of the divination, but also just kind of making things out as you see them. So for example, if I see a dog in the clouds, I might be like, "Oh yeah, you see like the ears and you see like the mouth," and someone might look at it and be like, "I have no idea what you're talking about right now. I don't see that at all." So it comes down to what you see.
Exactly, your vision.
Yes.
Because I could tell people all day long till I'm blue in the face that I've had visitation dreams and I've been touched by people from the afterlife. I close my eyes and do remote viewing and stuff like that. You could tell people all day long you do these things. It's really your personal journey. They don't have to believe you. And
Correct.
a lot of people don't, you know. A lot of people
Right.
probably think I'm crazy.
A lot of people don't, or they also, some people are like, they don't want to know, because then that opens up a whole world that's very scary to people that don't want to believe in it. I know that for a fact. There's a lot of people that are like, I'm not even going to acknowledge that this is a thing, because then that's a whole other like anxious thing that I can't comprehend or I don't want to know. So,
Yeah, so that's the thing. You have spirituality, and then there's religion, right? And if you look in the Bible, in the Catholic Bible or the New Testament or whatever, um, after the rewrite of it, it says don't contact the dead. That's a thing that you do. You'll be contacting demons. Don't search soothsayers, they call them in the Bible. So that sets up some disbelief as well. So there's people I know that'll be like, "Oh, you're dabbling in demons, man."
yeah.
And that happened. Yeah, see,
There's the kitty
the
again.
cat said,
She
"Yeah, you're
did.
dabbling in demons." That's fantastic. Perfect for Halloween. All right,
Right.
so the Vigil for the Dead, the night before All Saints' Day, which became known as All Hallows' Eve, was a vigil to remember the souls in purgatory, solidifying the connection to the dead. Calavera, with us getting close to Halloween, what are your Halloween rituals that you're going to do this year?
So, I don't know if I explained this the last time, but I actually have human remains in my room. And my plan is to kind of bring them in and give them like a dumb supper. Let them know that they have a space that they can come through and they can talk. And then invite, like, especially the people that have passed recently, invite them in to just be and to just feel like they're here visiting this plane again. So that is going to be my big ritual. But I will also be at Sacred Vortex that on Halloween.
Cool.
doing readings. So
Everybody that's in Cleveland, surrounding area, go out to Sacred Vortex. It's a fantastic place. Dave Kovac owns it. He's very cool. Go out there, support them, and get a reading by Calavera. It's definitely worth it. Hey, let me ask you this question before I let you go today. So you talked about that dumb supper. Idea popped in my head. Maybe it's divine. You could also put the ashes of your loved one at the table right there for your dump supper. And also, guys out there, you can also use your pet's ashes. It doesn't have to be a human being that passed away. You could also show your ancestors or the cat deities, they call them, your gratitude as well, especially if you've had pets and lost them, because
yeah.
we can connect with animals too. I've seen it done. People are like, he's nuts. No, but hey, man, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. It's fantastic. You answered a lot of our Halloween questions that we had. Jim, do you have any questions?
Oh, I'm good right now. Actually, that was very good.
Very informative. We always love talking to you. And
Yeah.
thank you so much. And we'll try to make it out on Halloween. I don't know what my work schedule is, but everybody go out there and support Calavera.
And have one of their drinks too.
Oh, yeah.
The cavas, yeah.
Have a cava, and you'll get in the mood for Halloween, and you'll get all lucid. The Blue Lotus, let me say this to people out in Cleveland or any place that does kava and kratom drinks. Blue Lotus helps you lucid dream. Have you tried? Yes, she agrees.
Yeah, it helps with lucid dreaming. It helps with meditation, and it also is an aphrodisiac. And then
That's true.
it actually just this year became illegal in Alabama, and I think it's because that there are healing properties to it that someone else wants to get their hands on. So
Oh, I agree.
if
They need
you
to make their
can,
money on it.
yep, if you can partake in Blue Lotus in any form, I definitely recommend it.
Okay, very cool. Hey, I'll tell you this. The very, very, very first time I did the Blue Lotus drink, I went home and lucid dreamed. I went back and I told Dave, I had a lucid dream that night. It was so perfect because it just took me right into the lucid dream.
That is awesome.
Caffeine really does it to me too. It's a trigger for me. If I do caffeine, I have lucid dreams like crazy. During the middle of the day, I could be awake and I'm seeing a vision right now, and it was happening for decades and decades. And I finally figured it out that it was the caffeine, because when I stopped caffeine, it went away. I was like having the same type of lucid dream, which were nightmares all the time, and it was freaking me out. Jeff saw me. She'd come over here and I'd be up climbing the wall because I would have these dreams that were really affecting my mental state. And that all went away. I'm normal now. So those of you that do a lot of caffeine and you're having a hard time sleeping at night, and you're having these lucid dreams and repeating dreams, get away from that caffeine.
I guess I'll start drinking more caffeine because I definitely want the lucid dreams.
If I want to trip out and freak out, I'll just do a lot of caffeine and I'll go right there again. But it's something I do not like.
All right, hey, I got one last question for you. And Jim brought up the caffeine thing, but this is more on the other side of like drugs. Acid, DMT, magic mushrooms. I know they're all different properties, and I'm not asking you to say, it's good to use them and stuff like that. But do you believe in that, the fact that these properties can take you to another realm, or at least open you up to the thinning of the veil and things like that? Do you believe in that?
I do. I definitely believe that mushrooms can do that. You can even experience that in microdoses. As you know, people do say that when they microdose, it helps things with that shadow work. It helps bring things up to the surface that people have been maybe pushing down, that they don't want to confront. And mushrooms will actually kind of bring that up. And it also helps with thinning of the veil. A lot of people say they have spiritual experiences when they do mushrooms. Mostly, I don't really hear anything, I guess, from the other things, but definitely mushrooms for sure. I have heard. I've also heard people, just by smoking weed, it helps them with deepening their meditative state. So there are ways that you can use these things in spiritual contexts. My issue comes in when people can't be spiritual without them. I think you run into a lot of that where people feel like the only time that they can see, or the only time that they can have their third eye open, is when they are taking some sort of substance. And that is when I have to say, then you're really not practicing spirituality. So make sure you know how to do all these practices and meditation, and know how to open your third eye naturally without substances before you kind of dabble into the drugs.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, they have mushrooms now that you
Yeah.
can get at the head store. Mushrooms, psilocybin. I couldn't believe it. I bought a little sample pack, but I haven't tried it yet.
He's tripping right now.
No.
He doesn't even know he's here.
No,
He's not even here right now.
Jim, you're not even here right now. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm astroplaning. What do you mean?
Astroplaning. That's a good one. I like that one. Yeah, I'll say this about drugs real quick. The great thing, Ohio, you can get high because it's legal now. I don't like to get high when I do pendulum or any type of spiritual stuff. Not so much that I like to be 100% in control. That's why I don't like to do acid whatsoever. It freaks me out. But I like to be in control. But I don't like getting high. I find it disrespectful to the ancestors. Also, don't drink alcohol whatsoever doing that. Just my personal thing. But I've heard from other people like Gregory Nicholas told me he doesn't like that. And some other people as well. So, yeah, that's very, very true.
Yeah.
Oh, super cool. All right, I have one last thing for you. I know I keep doing this, but this is my very last question for the night. I don't like to share a lot of my spiritual stuff with everybody, but I had an experience happen, and you don't have to explain it to me what it was, but I just want to tell you about it because it was interesting and super cool. So when my mom was passing, we had her at hospice. I was alone in the room with her. I got to talk to her. She was not conscious, but and they still listen to you. It's a proven fact medically that the human body, the hearing is the last thing to go before they pass. They hear everything you say. Okay. It's proven. And I was talking to her and I closed my eyes to pray. Right. And all I saw was golden flashes. It was kind of like when I laid down to go to sleep at night, when I go remote viewing and I see different lands. This time it was just flashes of gold everywhere. It was the craziest thing.
Wow.
Just wanted to share that with you.
Isn't
that cool, Jim?
Yeah, that is. He didn't even tell me about that.
Yeah. Well, I get down here and I'm talking to, people that find that interesting and acceptable, because there's a lot of people, if you told them that, would think you're bonkers, right?
That's really cool.
Not really.
I thought it was angels around me. That's what I visualized. Angels around me.
I like that. It's definitely, what I'm also getting is kind of that too, where it's opening up of the other side, and having the angels come around and being in, they're going to take her from here. So I like that it is that, like, almost like that. Not only were they comforting you, but also opening up that door to take her with them.
Yeah, for sure. Here, I'm not going to ask you the question, but I'll mention this. When people are passing, all people that pass have different experiences before they pass. I kept waiting for the moment where she would become conscious again and be like, take me to heaven, Lord. And she'd put her arms up and things like that. That never occurred. But it does happen with a lot of people. They'll get dressed up for the occasion that they're passing because they know that their husband's coming to get them. They'll tell their nurses that. It's the most amazing experience. If you guys never gone through the hospice situation, yes, it's depressing, but it doesn't have to be, because it's almost beautiful in a way, because they're finally going home. Right?
100%. I think it is absolutely beautiful. And this is what I hope to achieve one day, is that when like my time is ultimately coming, that I will be accepting of it and almost excited for it and ready for it and just ready to go on to the next adventure. So I think if we look at it as this isn't like the end, this is going into the next adventure, this is going into the next, realm, in whatever you believe in. I truly think that there is a bright side, and whether you are Christian, whether you are pagan, if what you believe in gives you hope and faith in what is to come after, then to hold on to that really tight. So, yeah.
Well, I'm definitely not ready to go, but I'm ready to go home if you follow my drift. Um, and yeah, I totally agree with you 100%. Calavera, thank you so much for joining Outlaw Radio Nation today. You're a fantastic guest. I hope you have a fantastic night on Halloween. I hope you do a lot of readings. And again, everyone, thank you to Calavera for coming on, talking about a witchy guide to Halloween. And we'll see you soon.
Have a
Absolutely.
good
Thank
evening
you.
and Halloween.
Yeah,
Yes,
happy
thank
Halloween.
you guys. Have a great Halloween.
Active.
All right. You
And
take
now for tonight's broadcast.
Calavera.
0100100100110011001010101.
Fantastic, right, Jim?
Wow, she really had some good answers. She was on the ball tonight, that's for sure.
Fantastic. She is a wealth of information. I do plan on bringing her back again because as we
absolutely.
progress through this year, because she is just, there is so much still I have yet to ask.
She is so sharp, and
As you saw, like,
spoken and just very good.
we'll start talking, and then there's just so many questions you have after she tells you something. Like, she tells you about the thing in the veil, or the thing about the graveyard dirt, which I've never heard before. The carving of turnips and gourds. I never heard about that stuff before.
She mentioned she had some human remains. I think there's a skull, maybe. Was it a skull she said last time?
I was going to ask
Or
if
a
it was her
bone?
ex-boyfriend.
Oh,
I thought that would be funny. I forgot.
well, a good friend of mine died a couple of years ago, and we were down in the valley, and they were passing out plastic bags, a little bit of his remains, and I took one home. So I guess I have some human remains too in the house.
Yeah, so even ashes, like if you had ashes of your family members, or even your pets and things like that, man, yeah, you could do all that stuff. Very cool. Fantastic interview. It's always a fantastic interview when we have the paranormal people on. I love it.
I'm so glad.
All right, I got another one for you. So coming soon, November 2nd. I booked them today. I did not tell you before the show because I wanted to surprise you. Mark Berry from AMG Universal will be coming on a show with us. We'll be doing an exclusive interview with him. It'll be part of our Outlaw Radio Nation show on Sunday. Also booked the Demon Seer, June Lundgren again. We have so many questions about demons and the afterlife. I also booked the metaphysical person, the holistic psychotherapist. That'll be super cool. We have a lot of stuff coming. Mark Farner is on the way. I talked to the management team today, and he'll be coming on a Thursday. I just don't know the date and time yet. I told him pick any Thursday they want. We'll make it happen. What do you think? Before, obviously, his concert.
So Mark is going to be on good because I have some new stuff got to lay on to him, see what he thinks.
Yeah, guys, if you want to know about the music business and the inside and outs and how to really get your music out there, listen to that show, okay? All right, so join us this Sunday night when we bring King Ern from Berlin, Germany on. We are talking music and more. Then we dive deep into the paranormal with Hitler's death camps and German folklore. Jim will be bringing you more woke news and the mental ill in America. We also have strange news, music news, and some trick-or-treat tips. And we'll be playing King Ern and a bunch of artists from our very first show, which entails like Sozin, Oblivia, Conspiracy 216 with Sadistical, My Cleveland Project, Jim Bellinger with Walking Away From You, The Black Roses. So we're going to be revisiting our very first show.
We should have almost played If the Moon Flies Away tonight. We were talking about the moon so much tonight.
I wish we had more time so I could look it up for you. But what we're going to do is we're going to close out the show. I want to thank everyone out there for tuning in tonight to our very witchy guide to Halloween. We had a fantastic time, didn't we, Jim?
Yes, and we're going to close up with some good tunes, right?
We sure are. We are Outlaw Radio Nation. We'll see you on Sunday at 7. I want to thank Avoid Dead for letting us feature their music on our show today. We're going to end out our show with 2 songs by them. Okay? What we have for you is Avoid Dead with Soldier On. It was one of their newest songs that they gave it to us when we first started Outlaw Radio Nation. Okay? And then we're going to end it with Avoid Dead's song featured for today, Witch. Okay?
All right.
We've been Outlaw Radio Nation. You guys have a fantastic evening. We're out. Keep the peace.
See you Sunday.
See you Sunday. Avoid Dead. Soldier On, baby.
As I lay here in the dark, a bit of despair without a spark, waiting in silence, don't make a sound. The enemy is all around. Hear them moving, hear the breath. Bombs explode in fiery death. Screaming, bleeding, torturous pain. Soldiers dying for a golden life. The nightmare starts, the trenches run red. My brothers, my enemies, bold and I'm dead. The murderous rage that trembles inside. The predator, the prey, the wounds open wide. The sounds, the smells, the faces of war. The desperate struggle, the deafening roar. Innocent victims are cast aside, quickly forgotten when two worlds collide. Sacrifice, a soldier fighting for what's right. As profits fuel the war machine, a soldier fighting for their life without remorse, without shame. Heroics and defeats are all the same. It's a battle of victory when so many are lost. The endless war really was a job. Fight the this night. The fates of time sing the song without any warmth or light. Malevolence all around us, instilling fear like a parasite. The hatred you see in the lover's eyes, the anger you feel when you bond to fight. Survive.